Alan West, Congressional Representative from District 22. I'd like to call him forward for some remarks.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thanks to each and every one of you for being here. And Bob, I want to thank you because you represent what is great about this country. My father served in World War II, and as you can see by this bracelet, I'm an old paratrooper myself. So thank you for your service, sacrifice, and commitment to this country in the uniform of military service, but also in the uniform of a law enforcement officer. So again, if we could give him a round of applause. Welcome each and every one of you to Congressional District 22, and when you're thinking about going somewhere else, don't think about going somewhere else. Come right back here in 2014 because we will be happy to host you again. I think we have a great venue for you so that you can enjoy your weekend. Now, I could stand up here and I can talk about many different things, and this morning when I was out there on my 7-mile run, I was thinking about what could I talk to you about. You know, we could talk about unions, we could talk about pensions, we can talk about all the grants that I've written for local law enforcement here, the COPS program, to make sure that we continue to have, good quality law enforcement, that all the equipment that they need is necessary for them to have that. But I think the most important thing that I can talk to you about this morning is to tell you the situation for the United States of America. I'm 51 years of age. And I've never seen our country in the situation in which it finds itself right now. We are losing the United States of America. We are in a country that is $16 trillion in debt. We are in a country that is borrowing 42 cents on every dollar. We are in a country where people say the unemployment rate is 8.2%. The unemployment rate in the United States of America is not 8.2%. It is closer to 15%. Because you have to take into account the people that are unemployed, the people that are underemployed, and the people who have just completely been discouraged and fallen off the rolls. I was brought up in the inner city of Atlanta, Georgia. And one of the things that I see is the decimation of the black community. Where the unemployment rate, the actual unemployment rate is truly 14%. The unemployment rate for black teenagers is now the highest it's been since the Depression. It is 37%. This past week we found out that we have seen in the past three and a half years a 40% decrease in the median family income for American families. Tomorrow is Father's Day, and happy Father's Day to each and every one of you out there, and I hope you enjoy your Father's Day. But in the black community, you're talking about 28% of our children that have mothers and fathers in the home. These are just some of the simple things. Almost 7 million more Americans on the poverty rolls. A 45% increase in food stamp recipients, 15% increase in insurance premiums in the United States of America. We're heading in the wrong direction. Gasoline prices are still exorbitantly high. About a 97 to 98% increase over the past 4 years. And we have all the resources here in this country that we can tap into. We're looking at an incredible tax increase that could break the backs of the United States of America. And if you are not paying attention to what's going on in your community, if you look around for small business growth, small businesses are not growing. More and more closed storefronts, which means more and more people are not working, which means less revenues that are coming to our local municipalities and to our states, which affects what they can do as far as community policing, as far as education. If we don't start looking at what is happening in our schools, where once upon a time we taught our young men and women to respect and honor authority. When I grew up in the inner city of Atlanta, Georgia, I don't recall us having to have police officers in our high schools. But that's where we are today. We're losing the very fabric, the very cultural spirit of this country. And that is what I want to talk to each and every one about. Because what Bob sacrificed, that great generation, that generation that when they came back from World War II and Korea, some of them used the GI Bill, some of them went out and became law enforcement officers. Once upon a time on Capitol Hill, you had 75% to 85% of the individuals that serve as congressmen and senators has served in uniform. Today that number is less than 11%. And the number that have served a full active duty career in the United States military is less than 6 out of 435 in the House and 100 in the Senate. And one of them is standing before you today. We can talk about each and every one's responsive or respective areas or lanes or what have you. But a lot of the problems that we face in the country is because we have to get people in Washington, D.C. to understand honor, integrity, and character. Social Security, Medicare. In the year 2024, Medicare is bankrupt. If you don't believe me, read the actuary's report for fiscal year 2012. 9 years after that, Social Security is bankrupt. To do nothing means that those programs will not be there for our future generations of seniors. We have to have viable solutions that protect and preserve these mandatory spending programs, or else they're not going to be there. But yet, what we continue to hear all across this country, the Department of Defense budget makes up 19.6% of the overall budget of the United States of America, but yet we want to put 50 to 55% of the budget cuts on our men and women in uniform. We're talking about putting 200,000 men and women in uniform on the streets. And I can tell you right now, if you go up to St. Lucie County, you go out to the western part into the woods there, you will see homeless veterans living in the woods. That's how horrible our country has become. And it was George Washington who once said, future generations will judge their service to this country based upon how well we treat our veterans. That's why I want to continue to support getting veterans into law enforcement, getting veterans into our small businesses so that we can help them grow and provide them the opportunities because they were the ones that were willing to give that ultimate sacrifice. I will continue to support our local law enforcement agencies because they are the ones, they're my brothers and sisters that each and every day strap it on and they go out there to make sure that we stay safe and secure. But this is my greater responsibility, to make sure that the legacy of the United States of America can be passed on to future generations, because right now, that is not the case. When every man, woman, and child in America has a $50,000 debt upon their head because of the overall national debt, we're not going in the right direction. A child born today into the United States of America owes $50,000. And that number is increasing. That number was only $34,000 about 5 years ago. That's what we all have to understand. And we all must recognize that we are at a critical point to this country. You don't have to worry about me supporting law enforcement. I will always do that. And I don't, know about grade scores that come from the national level. But you talk to any of the FOP members down here in this district area. You talk to the law enforcement officers in Palm Beach, Broward County, Martin, St. Lucie County. You talk to the local municipal law enforcement officers. And they can tell you if they have an issue, if they need support, they know exactly where they need to go. And that will always be my commitment and promise to each and every one of you. But the greater commitment that I have to each and every one of you is that that flag over there that represents the symbol of liberty, freedom, and democracy for this great world will continue to be the standard and symbol that our founding fathers left us 236 years ago. Thank you for having me here. I hope you enjoyed and had a great session, and continue to come to me with the issues that are pressing for the Florida Fraternal Organization of Police, Order of Police. Thank you very much.